Good morning, one and all. So let us start today's class. So in the last class, we have discussed about one of the important theorems of these limit theorems, that is CLT. CLT stands for central limit theorem. What is the statement of central limit theorem? If you take x1, x2, so on, be a IID random variables with a common mean mu and variance sigma square, here we need to get a finite variance. So they are called IID random variables, which means they are statistical independent and identically distributed. So we have defined Zn, that is x1 plus x2 plus so on xn minus n mu by sigma root n. Now what happens as n tends to infinity? So the CDF of Zn converges to the standard normal CDF phi of Z. So this is the meaning. Here, so what does it say? Suppose you take x, a random variable that is uniformly distributed between 0 and 1. So what it is PDF, that is 0 to 1, this is x, this is fx of x. Okay. Now let us take one more random variable y. So that is also uniformly distributed between 0 and 1. So obviously its density function is also uniformly, this is 1, this is y, this is f phi of y. Suppose if I say z is sum of two random variables x and y, what about PDF of z? I told in last classes. What is that? It is a convolution of PDF of x and sorry. So convolution and with a PDF of y. Do you remember this? Otherwise simply, so what is the convolution of two square functions? What is this answer? So if you convolve two squares, you get a triangle. You have done these problems already. What do you get? Triangle. Sorry. This is 0, this is 2, that 1, this is 1. So this is the fz of z. So z is x plus y, sum of two random variables of uniform distribution. You are getting a triangle. Suppose if I add one more, suppose let us take z, otherwise w. So one more random variable, w is also uniformly distributed between 0 and 1. So what is z becomes? If I add x plus y plus w, it is sum of the random variables of uniform distribution. What do you get? You get something like this. So if you had two random variables, you got a triangle. So if you had three similar random variables of uniform distribution, you may get something like this. Okay. So if you had infinite number of random variables of uniform distribution, let us take z equal to x1 plus x2 plus so on so on. All are how they are uniformly distributed. So if you take only two random variables, it was like a triangle. If you take some of the uniform distributed random variables, it was something like this. If you take more number of random variables, obviously it may follow something like this. What is this? It's a Gaussian distribution. Okay, so x1, x2 may be uniform distribution, but if you add them in sufficiently large number, they follow Gaussian distribution. Okay, so what we are defining Zn, no? What Zn we have defined? x1 plus x2 plus so on xn minus n into mu by sigma into root n, isn't it? But here, so since they are uniform distributed, what is the mean mu? They are uniform between 0 and 1, no? What is the mean? 0 plus 1 by 2, 1 by 2. What is the variance? 1 square minus 0 square by 12, 1 by 12. Mean is 1 by 2, sigma square is 1 by 12. Now what Zn becomes now? If all are uniform distributed random variables, x1 plus x2 is plus so on xn minus n into mu. But what is mu? 1 by 2. So n by 2 by. So here can I do like this? This I will write this as square root of sigma square n square. Sigma square n, isn't it? I am taking this sigma inside the square root. So sigma square n means, what is sigma square? 1 by 12. So this is n by 12. Now if you do this calculation, so it is a distribution you get is, the distribution of Zn is what you get is 1 by root 2 pi e power minus x square by 2. What is this? This is a Gaussian distribution. Here what is the mean? 0. What is variance? 1. Because actually what is a normal Gaussian distribution? You compare these two. Obviously mean is 0, variance is 1. Okay, so we take this weightages n mu, this weightage, to make it normalized. Okay, now here I have taken sum of all uniform distributed random variables. You can take any distribution irrespective of the distribution. If you find out the distribution of Zn, it follows Gaussian distribution. Okay, so that is the importance of central limit theorem. So we take generally IID random variables. IID means statistical independent and identically distributed random variables. You need not be IIDs. We take IID random variables for our simplicity. It is not the condition for CLT. CLT is true for everything, which means here x1 can be uniform, x2 can be Gaussian, xn can be binomial. Still it is correct irrespective of the distribution. So the sum of all random variables will follow Gaussian distribution. So that is important central limit theorem. So we have solved one problem. So let us take one more problem. A machine processes parts one at a time. So a machine processes a part one at a time. The processing time of different parts are independent random variables uniform distributed on 1 to 5. We wish to approximate the probability that the number of parts processed within 320 time units is at least 100. So here what is the random variable? To find out, so the processing time is a random variable. Here the random variable is, so the processing time is a random variable. Is random variable. How it is defined? Uniformly from 1 to 5. Okay. So here itself let us find out Mean. What the mean? A plus b by 2. 6 by 2, that is 3. Variance. That is, what is the variance? 5 minus 1, 4 square by 12. That is 16 by 12. That is 4 over 3. So the mean and variance of each and every random variable is found out. Let Ti be the processing time of ith part of the mission. So each part will take some time to process. The machine is processing all the parts. Okay. Ti be the time taken for the processing of ith part. Now let us take S100. That is total processing time for first 100 parts. So time taken for first part is T1, second part is T2, plus so on T100. So this is a total processing time. This indicates total time for processing. How many? 100 parts. So this is the time required to process 100 parts. Now in the question what they are asking? So find the probability that the number of parts processed within 320 time units is at least 100, which means to process 100 parts you should take how much time? 320 units. Minimum 320 units. I mean, this should be the probability we have to find out. So the total processing time of 100 parts should be less than 320. Otherwise, what are they asking? So we wish to approximate the probability that the number of parts processed within 320 units is at least 100. Okay. I hope you are getting my point. So they are asking for what a probability that the total time to process 100 parts should be less than or equal to 320 units. Now, so we have to apply CLT, central limit theorem, because it is what is S100? Sum of all random variables, 100 random variables of uniform distribution. Now, but so we'll do normalization. No, generally, what is Z100? That is S100 minus n into mu. N is 100. What is mu? 1 by 2. Is it okay? Sorry, mu is 3. I'm sorry. By what is sigma square n? 4 into 100 by 3. This is Z100. Okay. So let us do now. So we have done these similar steps in the last problem also. S100 minus 300 by square root of 400 by 3 is less than equal to. So this is for left hand side we have done. So do same thing for right hand side. What is that? So 320 minus 300 by square root of 400 by 3. Now, so this is Zn, Z100. Now this quantity is how much is quantity? So 1.73. Which means, so we have to find out probability that Zn is less than equal to 1.73. So this is approximately equal to pi of 1.73 from the CLT properties. Now this is approximately equal to 0.9582. It is from where? From the standard normal CDF table. Okay. That is about central limit theorem. Now, so let us, in the last class we have discussed uh, one kind of probability, convergence in probability. Now we will discuss convergence with probability 1 or with certain probability. So let y1, y2 be sequence of random variables, not necessarily independent, associated with the same probability model. Let C be a real number. We say that yn converges to C with the probability 1. If, what is that? So probability that yn equal to C with the probability 1. Here limit n tends to infinity. This is a limiting process. So probability that yn equal to C equal to 1. Then we say that yn converges to C with a what? Unity probability. Now, so here we'll discuss law of large numbers. Actually, so law of large numbers, as I mentioned in the last class, so there are two types, strong, weak and strong. So we have discussed the weak law of large numbers, what it says. So Mn, the sample mean, converges to true mean in probability if when n tends to infinity. Now what about strong law of large number? It is also same, but it uses some other probability laws. Okay, let us see what is the strong law of large numbers. You remember this? We mentioned in the last class. So the strong law of large numbers is similar to the weak law in that also deals with the convergence of the sample mean to a true mean. Here also convergence of a sample mean Mn, convergence of a sample mean Mn to true mean mu. But it uses a different convergence. What it uses? It uses convergence with a unit probability. Now this is what we are saying. So Mn. So what happens here is, so in the strong law of large numbers we use convergence with unit probability. So what it is? Probability that Mn, limit n tends to infinity, otherwise probability that limit n tends to infinity when Mn equal to mu. So probability that Mn equal to mu is how much? 1. So this is a strong law of large numbers. So so let me write like this: limit n tends to infinity. What is Mn? That is x1 plus x2 plus so on xn by n. This is equal to true mean. Now what is whole probability? Equal to 1. Now, so what is the strong law of large number says is the true mean converges to, the sample mean converges to true mean with the probability how much? 1. Or it is for sure. Okay, it is for sure or more surely, almost surely. Okay, so what is strong law of large number says? The sample mean converges to true mean with a unit probability, with almost surety. So it is very strong in nature because we are dealing with certain probability or probability of 1. Okay, so that is about strong law of large numbers. Okay, so with this we almost complete 4th unit. Not only that, we complete syllabus also. If anything is left out, I will make 1 or 2 videos, but with this our syllabus is completed. So we will conduct maybe one or two doubt sessions and if time permits. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you.